UK is considering a one-year windfall tax on bankers' bonuses. It won't surprise you that the financial industry is against this idea. We partner with the Financial Times to bring you Lex on Bloomberg so you can get a sneak peek at the FT's flagship column a day early. Joe Johnson, head of Lex, joins us from London with more. So, Joe, let's talk about the politics of a windfall tax on bonuses to start off with.
Sure. Well, Alistair Darling, the Labour Chancellor of the Exchequer, is considering whether to include a windfall tax on bonuses in his pre-budget report on Wednesday. Now, the politics of it are quite simple for him. The Labour government is acutely vulnerable to charges that it hasn't done enough to save jobs in places such as Teesside, where, as you will have seen over the weekend, Chorus, the steelmaker, closed the area's last remaining production facility at the likely cost of thousands of jobs. So it's vulnerable to charges that it's done nothing for its core heartlands, the industrial parts of the UK, but it's thrown billions of pounds at bailing out the banks. There's incredible anger in the UK, and the Labour government feels that there are probably a lot of votes out there to be won in a windfall tax on the banks.
Okay, so you have to imagine that it might be a bit of a thorny political issue. I'm sure there's some opposition, but let's talk about how it might work in practice. Can you actually make this happen?
Well, any tax has to be seen to be both fair and implementable, feasible. On the fairness question, the government, between now and Wednesday, if it's going to go ahead with this, must work out where to draw the line, who to include in any windfall tax on bonuses. We're not, as it seems, going to tax the institutions themselves, but the employees within it. So target number one is almost certainly going to be the UK banks that directly received public cash. That's, in essence, Royal Bank of Scotland and Lloyds Banking Group, possibly also Northern Rock, which is now entirely in state ownership. But the more difficult question is that the UK is a huge financial centre where many banks that are not UK-listed entities, but UK-authorised entities, also trade in large numbers. So what do we do about the UK subsidiaries of banks such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, etc.? Do we include them in a tax, even though they've never taken a penny of UK taxpayers' money? Yes, they've benefited from the broad backstopping of the financial system, but they benefited across the world, not just in the UK. So there are going to be huge issues of fairness there.
All right, Joe, we'd like to thank you very much. That's Joe Johnson, head of Lex, with a sneak peek at tomorrow's flagship column in the FT.